Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapatme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Muhur Muhur. গতকাল আমাকে বলা হয়েছিল keynote address দিতে, পরে এটা পরিবর্তন করে চেয়ারম্যানস অ্যাড্রেস দিতে বলা হয়েছে। কিন্তু দুটো দিকেও আমার বক্তব্যটা অনেক গতকাল তারপরে বলভদ্রানন্দজি যেভাবে ভাব প্রচার সম্পর্কে উনি যা বিস্তারিতভাবে বলেছিলেন, আজ সকালে জেনারেল সেক্রেটারি মহারাজ উনিও কিনোট অ্যাড্রেস রূপে উনি দিয়েছিলেন। ওটাতে ভাব প্রচার সম্পর্কে যা বলা দরকার ছিল সমস্ত ওনারা প্রকাশ করেছেন। কিন্তু আমি আমার বক্তব্য যা ছিল সমস্ত ওনাদের মাধ্যমে প্রকাশিত হয়েছে। তবুও আমি দু তিনটে কথা ব্যাপারে বলতে চাই। প্রথমত এই রামকৃষ্ণ বিবেকানন্দ ভাব প্রচার এই নাম আমার মনে হয় এই রামকৃষ্ণ সারদা বিবেকানন্দ ভাব প্রচার এটা হওয়ার উচিত। কারণ মায়ের এটা ভূমিকা মায়ের ঠাকুর এবং স্বামীজির জীবনেও মায়ের ভূমিকা, মায়ের অবদান খুবই অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। এখানে দেখলাম ঠাকুর আছেন, মার দুজনের ছবি আছে, কিন্তু মায়ের ছবি নেই।
বাংলার ইংরেজি দুটোতে বললে সবাই বুঝতে পারবে।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, all right. So I shall speak in English. My first suggestion is that this Bhava Prachar Parishads should be named Ramakrishna Sarada Vivekananda Bhava Prachar, especially in modern times. The role of women in public life, social and private lives has become very important. So from that point of view also we should rename in this way. That is one point. Second point, আমি গতকাল বলভদ্রানন্দজি এবং আজ সকালে আমাদের জেনারেল সেক্রেটারি মহারাজ ওনারা যা বলেছিলেন, ওনারা না বলা কয়েকটা কথা, which they have not touched some of the topics I would like to mention here. First of all, the origin, the genesis of this organization. Actually, though it is said to be 1980, actually it began much earlier. I remember in the 1970s, पूजनीय गंभीरानंद जी महाराज, नित्य स्वरूपानंद जी महाराज, उन्हीं जिन्हें वर्ल्ड पार्क के छिलेन, नित्य स्वरूपानंद जी एवं अन्य आरो शंकरी प्रसाद बसु महाशय आरो कয়েকজন ওনারা এসেছিলেন বিভিন্ন জায়গায়, বিভিন্ন সেন্টারে। They used to go to different centers to study the way the so-called private centers are functioning. The private centers, I think a better word would be, and generally in the West, that is more commonly used, and that is unaffiliated centers. Many of the so-called private centers are unaffiliated centers. They are waiting to be affiliated. After a few years you will find that those centers which were called unaffiliated, they become affiliated. So that is the private centers. Instead of that, they could be called unaffiliated centers. And also in the West, generally they are more commonly known as non-profit centers, ashramas. The Avatar, everybody knows Avatar Ashen ekta varta niye. The Avatar comes with a message. All the avatars come with some message. We would like to discuss the message that Sri Ramakrishna Swami Vivekananda and Sri Ma they disseminated. Before taking up that, one or two other points I would like to mention, and that is the Ramakrishna Mission as a spiritual organization. I am joined from the Lagna Teke. I have been listening to the especially Atmasthananda Ji Maharaj, उन्हें व्यापारे खूब जोर देते हैं. Ours is not a secular organization, but a spiritual organization. What does this spiritual organization mean? A spiritual organization means two things. First of all, the goal of life, though we are in an organization which conducts a lot of social service activities, still the goal of our life is God realization. That is one criterion of being a member of a spiritual organization. Another is all the work that we do is not merely social work, social service work, however much we try to glorify service. It is actually a sort of sadhana. It is as a part of our sadhana that alone can justify the ideal that our motto is Atmano Mokshartham Jagat Hitaya Cha. So though we do Jagat Hita type of work, our ultimate these are done as a part of our sadhana. The service activities of the Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission are part of the sadhana of the members, the sadhus and brahmacharins. That is one point that distinguishes Ramakrishna Mission and Ramakrishna Math from so many other social service organizations. The third, in this context, I would like to also mention that several of our Bhava Prachar and the unaffiliated members of the unaffiliated centers, they believe that God realization and spiritual realization is for the sadhus. We are householders. What can we do? That is what many people say. I have heard several people telling this. But for householders also, even if they are not sannyasins, there is another ideal, and that is the Rishi ideal. The Rishi ideal you will find in the Vedas, in the Upanishads. You don't find everywhere. In the Vedas, you come across rishis. Rishis are those who are spiritually illumined, but even if they lead householders' life, they are called rishis. Swamiji also says in the Colombo to Almora lectures, there is a blessing pronounced upon every Hindu, and that is to become a Rishi. So the becoming a Rishi is a kind of daitya. It is a responsibility of all the members of not only a sannyasis, Ramakrishna order, but also of all the members of the Bhava Prachar Parishads. So this Swamiji Thakur has recovered this Rishi ideal and he lived that. He was not only a sannyasin, though he took sannyas in the formal way from Totapuri, still he also lived like a rishi. That's why he continued to be the married life also, lead a married life also. So another point is, a third point I would like to mention here is the prevalence of the Guru Parampara. Guru Parampara. Swami Vivekananda mentions in some of his letters, especially once when in a letter to Vaikunthanath Sanyal, there Swamiji writes, so each and everyone cannot become a spiritual leader of the society. There should be the Guru Parampara. All the mantras are not that we repeat, are not artificially created. They arise spontaneously in the hearts of illumined souls, like Srimat Swamiji and others. It is those mantras that have come down to us. If you trace them back, you can trace them back to the vast reservoirs of spiritual power and who were at the fountainhead of our order. So this Guru Parampara, here this is another means of establishing unity among our brothers. Our Guru Bhai, Guru Bon, ityadi, this will help in strengthening our bond without bondage. Bonding us together, uniting us, but without causing a bondage. In the outside world, the marriage, the main problem about that is it creates bondage. So without bondage, we can get united. So that is the another point about this Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission. So then, as I said, the Bhava Prachar, the main difference between Bhava Prachar and other organizations should be kept in mind. Bhav, the word Bhav, I saw, they looked up the dictionary, that is the Shamshad, the English to Bangla, Bangiya, Bangiya, Shamshad dictionary, Shamshad Abhiyan, I saw, and then I found that word, the Bhav has they have given 20 meanings. Bhav has been given 20 meanings. So Mot Katha, all these 20 meanings come to one word we can say, and that is message. The message of Thakur, the message of Thakur Ma Swamiji. So all their message is one, unified, that is their message. So that is what Bhav means. So to spread the message of Thakur Ma Swamiji, that is the main purpose of Bhava Prachar, Parishad. As I said, the earlier 1970s, when Pujaniya Lokeshwarananda ji Maharaj, Gambhirananda ji, Nitya Swarupananda ji and others, ওদের নেতৃত্বে একটি দল সিনিয়র সাধুস ওনারা এসেছিলেন বিভিন্ন জায়গায়। they used to move about in different centers. So one of the main purpose of their tour was to see that the Bhava Prachar, the private, so-called private or unaffiliated centers, whether the message they are spreading is in harmony with the real message of Thakur Ma Swamiji, to see that also. So this, just today, this morning, I think our General Secretary Maharaj said about the importance of this message. That is the glory of this message, but it is also true that the message should be the proper, should be true and correct, and not each center cannot spread, should not spread in their own way. They should be brought together, to closer together to Belur Math and the ultimate source of all these messages. The three messages of the three, they all come to one and the more or less one and the same. So I will just mention the messages of these three great the founders of this Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission. First of all, Thakuret Upadesh Anek Ache, and so many books in the Kathamrita and Leela Prasanga. Then our Suresh Chandra Datta's Sri Ramakrishna Upadesh, there is a separate book. Out of all this, there are 4 main teachings of Sri Ramakrishna. If you keep in mind these 4 teachings, that would be more than enough. First one is Ishwar Labhai Manushya Jivaner or Manav Jivaner Uddeshya. Ishwar Labhai Manushya Jivaner Uddeshya. That is the first teaching of, most important teaching of Thakur. Second one is Jato Mat Tato Path. That there is a great deal to be discussed. For want of time, I avoid that. The third point teaching is the Jini Brahma, Tini Shakti, Tini Ma. So regarding this also, where Thakur has reconciled the Nirguna and Saguna Brahman and the Sahakara and Nirakara, both Thakur has harmonized. So this also, it needs to be thought about, a great deal to be discussed. For want of time, I skip that. And then the third teaching of Thakur is not the third, the fourth, and that is first is Ishwar Labhai Jivana Uddeshya. The second one is Jato Mat Tato Path. Third one is Jini Brahma Tini Shakti Tini Ma. So the Brahman and Shakti are Abhed. This is an important teaching of Thakur, which for various reasons Swamiji did not discuss this much or propagate much. And most of the problems in our order stems from this deficit, this the lacuna, and that is Brahman and Shakti Abhed. Jini Brahma Tini Shakti tini ma. And the last one, the fourth point is, as everybody knows, and that is the Shivajnane Jiva Seva. Shivajnane Jiva Seva ठीक मतो करते गले, first of all one should regard oneself as Shiva and also see Shiva in others. Devo bhutva devanapi eti. Only the divine only can worship the divine. Even in Christian church, the worship is done by God. Jesus offers himself as an oblation to God. So, Deva Bhutva Devanabhi Api Yeti. Our puja, our ashrama, daily ashrama puja that we do in the ashrama, and also those who do privately, the puja of Thakur that is now being followed, that is all based on this principle, divinization. First of all, the divinization of the pujari. Only the divine can worship the divine. So first the pujari has to divinize himself, and then only comes the worship. So this is Thakur's main, these are the four teachings. About Mayar Katha, there are, one is Sajjagun, but mainly mother's role is not in verbal teachings, but in the moral and spiritual support that he provided. My mother used to say, koto na holevo tumi jabe janbe, tomar at least you have got a mother, and at the back tomar pichne ejon shakti mother ma achen jini, when you are in difficulty at the right time she will come forward and help you. So this kind of ashvas, so the support, moral and spiritual support, that is mother alone, and that to all people without any distinction of caste, creed or religion. So many people I have seen, especially Muslims. Mother was very kind towards that Andaj, what is his name? I forgot. Yes. Amjad, yes. I forgot. Amjader Kotha, Egulo Aneke, Vara Buchte Jane. They go to mother because nobody else with whom there is nobody else with whom they can feel identity. There is someone who understands me, who is my real mother. So that feeling gives them. So that is one mother's. And then Swamiji's mainly potential divinity, idea of potential divinity and service to others, Shivajnane Jiva Seva, what Thakur taught, that Swamiji put it into practice at the social level. So these are the teachings of the great souls of our order, and this Parishad, this Bhava Prachar Parishad, the duty or the function of the Bhava Prachar is to put these ideas, this message, to spread this message among the people, especially among the youths. শেষ করতে করে আমি এটা বাংলায় লিখেছিলাম বলে ওটাই পড়ব। দিব্যত্রয়ী জীবনদায়ী বাণী এবং সর্বজনীন নীতিগুলো কেবল ভারত ও ভারতীয়দের জন্য প্রযোজ্য নয়, বিশ্ববাসীর হিত সাধনের জন্য এই সব অমূল্য বাণী দেশে বিদেশে ছড়িয়ে দিতে হবে আর এর জন্য একটি সর্বজনীন এবং জীবন্ত দর্শনের প্রয়োজন। স্বামী বিবেকানন্দ বেদান্ত দর্শনে এটি উপলব্ধি করেছেন। শ্রী শ্রী ঠাকুরের জীবন আলোকে বেদান্তের সার্বজনীন এবং জীবনদায়ী, that is life-giving. Swamiji repeatedly used to speak about universal and life-giving message of Thakur, Ma and Swamiji. এটাকে স্বামীজি প্র্যাকটিক্যাল বেদান্ত বলে অভিহিত করেছিলেন। জাতি ধর্ম বর্ণ নির্বিশেষ বিশেষ করে সমাজের গরিব এবং দুস্থ মানুষ, দলিত এবং পীড়িতের মধ্যে ব্যবহারিক বেদান্তের প্রচার ও প্রসার করা ভাব প্রচার পরিষদের মুখ্য উদ্দেশ্য এবং লক্ষ্য হওয়া উচিত। শেষে একটা ঘটনা বলে আমি এটা শেষ করছি। এই প্রসঙ্গে বলি, ডক্টর আম্বেদকর, নাম কি আম্বেদকর মনে পড়ছে না, ডক্টর আম্বেদকর যখন হিন্দু ধর্ম থেকে বেরিয়ে এসে নয়া বৌদ্ধ আন্দোলনের সূচনা করেন, সেই সময়ে মহাত্মা গান্ধী তাকে জিজ্ঞাসা করেছিলেন, আপনি কি বিবেকানন্দ সম্পর্কে পড়াশোনা করেননি? তখন উত্তরে ডক্টর আম্বেদকর বলেছিলেন, হ্যাঁ পড়েছি, তবে আমি পরিতৃপ্ত হইনি। ডক্টর আম্বেদকর এই কথা বলতেন না, যদি আমাদের ভাব প্রচার পরিষদগুলি আরও সক্রিয় হতো এবং দেশের গরিব দুঃখী পীড়িত মানুষের, দলিত মানুষের জাগতিক প্রতিপত্তি ও আধ্যাত্মিক উন্নতি সাধনে আরও বেশি তৎপর হতো। এটা করে আমি শেষ করলাম। শ্রী শ্রী ঠাকুর মা স্বামীজি আমার চরণে সমর্পণ করলাম। আপনাদের সকলে, উপস্থিত সকলের সর্বাঙ্গীন কল্যাণের জন্য প্রার্থনা করে শেষ করলাম। ধন্যবাদ।